That right there is me, and this is Quinfall. Now, this game has had a lot of history already. Several months ago, I think maybe like 7, they had like a whole moment on the internet where everybody thought that this game was a scam because basically they'd promised the world and they used a lot of store-bought assets. And I sort of said at the time, I don't think it's a scam, I think it's probably a scuffed MMO. Well, to be honest, I still am of that opinion. If you don't know, there is a closed beta test, which, you know, there's a lot to say about that, but one thing that they did is they made it look like it would be accessible in Steam. Like, you request access, they grant you access, you download the whole game, you go into the game, and then it requires a key. You can no longer get those keys, which did sort of benefit me because I was giving some of them away on Twitch. And, you know, I got a lot of follows today, let's just say that. Apparently there's going to be more keys, so if you want to try and get some in some Twitch chats, hopefully mine, then you might be able to. I'm going to reach out and hope that I can get some more keys for you guys. So there was a whole kerfuffle where people are trying to get into the game and failing. And then we got into the game today. They brought it forward one day and they didn't really announce a time, but it ended up going live around about 7 o'clock UK time. And what are the first impressions? Now, this isn't going to be a complete first impressions over everything, because, you know, that video would take a while. I've been streaming it as long as I could, and I'm actually, you know, probably going to film this, record this, and head to bed. But what are the first impressions? Well, the first overriding thought is that the servers are absolute jank. So what's been happening, and I'll try and play some footage over this, is like in the PvP and sometimes in the PvE, it sort of feels like the server just effectively gives up. Mobs won't fight back, or they'll just run at you and not actually attack. And in PvP, we are basically getting killed by invisible enemies sometimes. And I think that's all to do with the server. The server obviously has some kind of issue. When we talk about desync, you might be familiar with like in New World, where there's desync and you sort of roll back like a brief second or something like that. In this game, it sort of feels like you are completely desyncing from the entire universe, and then you're not syncing back ever at times. And that sometimes happened in PvP, where you literally have to sort of like log out to get back. Now, that's going to be the big question for this game, is whether or not they can make the servers work. Now, it is in the Unity engine, and I've heard that that may have like internet issues, like server issues, basically server optimization. And yeah, if they can't fix that, then the game will never be good, because it'll never be playable. Okay, it's literally that simple. And there's a key reason, by the way, why I do not have the sound on right now. I don't even actually know. I've got my headphones on, to be honest with you. In fact, let's take them off. There's a key reason we don't have the sound. The sound is very bad, and at the start of the game where I was in the world, there were like these squirrels, and oh my god, they make a very annoying sound. But what I'm going to go do is I'm going to jump into some combat to sort of show you what it's like. Now, as I head on over to my quest area, I want to show you the size of this map. This map is absolutely huge. Unfortunately, a lot of it is pretty empty. So I'm heading over to like this questing area. But as I go there, you know, the world is sort of, you know, pretty and all. It's not like, you know, awful looking or anything like that. There's a lot of settings that you are going to want to turn off, by the way. There's like a vignette setting, there's motion blur, all kinds of weird stuff that makes the game, I think, looks a little bit worse than it should do. But once you turn all that off, I think the game looks all right. You know, it's not necessarily the prettiest game in the universe for sure, but you know, it's palatable, it's passable, it's okay for me. But there's a lot of empty space. Now, I think, now I'm not 100% sure about this because we haven't got to this point yet. I'm only like level 11. I think a lot of the empty space is because you can craft in these areas. So you can definitely craft in these circles. I don't know if you can craft in the gaps. If you can't craft in the gaps, then my question is going to be, what the hell is in the gaps? Pretty much nothing. They claim that this map is like one of the biggest MMO maps in the universe, in the world, and they're probably right. Unfortunately, that's because there's nothing in it. Now, also, very quickly, this is one of the most annoying things that they are going to fix. Once I exit this, you'll notice my cursor's on the screen. If I try and press WASD, I don't move. And it's because it's like an action combat game. Cursor mode, you can sort of select things like all of this in your quests and all that kind of jazz, but you can't move. What they basically need to do is just ditch this mode and make it so that you have to press escape to get it, instead of defaulting to it. Like, it defaults to it after you like loot enemies and stuff like that. It's very annoying. You can't move, you can't do anything. You press control and you can. Now, the good news is that is something they're already going to be working on, and they said there'll be a fix in the next coming days. Good, because that's very, very annoying. And it, you know, it just makes the game feel bad. But yeah, I think the world's quite nice, but yeah, it is sort of mostly empty. Now, there's a couple of things like the mount, for example, it turns like a tank, which is realistic, but you know, it is what it is. Getting on the mount is a very long summon time. And, you know, the server does cause issues. I died earlier here because I killed one of the mobs and it went into negative health, which is never good. Now, the combat is passable. Now, it is action combat, so you need to actually like do stuff. You can dodge, you can block, but I've actually never used it at the minute. And the one thing I would recommend is never doing a heavy attack, because the heavy attack with the right mouse button takes forever and basically doesn't do any extra damage. It's pretty pointless. Now, there are abilities and stuff like that, and you know, the abilities are very useful. Some of them are a little bit ludicrous, like you go like spinning around like a billion times or what have you. And the loot, you press E and then, you know, you have to click the loot. You have to sort of do that. I think pets might help with that. And then you see you're in this sort of control mode where you can't move until you press control again. And that's very annoying. I'll very quickly just show off some range combat. I don't have any of the other weapons sort of leveled up, so don't judge me too much. So what's funny about that is like when you press I and you're in the action combat mode, it doesn't put you in the cursor mode, so you then have to press control and then do what you were doing. Now you can store your items here, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to explain the gearing system. To be honest, there's light, heavy, and medium, I think, but at the minute I'm only getting light, I think. I'm not 100% sure if that works, but you can store some extra weapons here. Now what I'll do is I'll just quickly use the bow actually, because the bow is a more interesting weapon because it's a little bit funnier. Now bear with me, when you change weapons, you don't have access to the abilities for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever the hell it is, 2.5 minutes. Oh, bear with me, I need to actually put my arrows in. Look how he leans back, it's just really funny. I think it does that so that you can actually see your target. Now it does just shoot instantly, there's no like heavy attack. I actually don't want to hit him because I'm going to die. I think the game's pretty, by the way, I really do. The combat is just not that great, like it's not that satisfactory. I don't think it's like really bad, like it's not PAX Day bad, but it's not like amazingly good either. It's barely passable, to be honest, and it's made a lot worse by the fact that the servers don't really work. There's a couple of weird things that the game has as well. Now I don't know if I can actually show you this. I think I just have one item. I have this item here, and basically only the female models can wear it. Now, gender locked items are something I'd never ever thought about in my lifetime whatsoever. It sort of logically makes sense, but it just feels a bit awkward to be picking up clothes that you can't wear. Now, logically speaking, you can put on girls' clothes as a guy. Who's asked these days? It's 2024. But I don't know, I just find that whole thing weird. It exists in the game, but I find it's weird, okay? It does seem that the game's going to be quite grindy. This quest alone that I have here is to kill 60 mobs. The actual first proper quest you get is to kill 50 mobs. And that's, you know, pretty standard. I can't use my abilities because I changed my weapons, which is a bit awkward. But, you know, I have to come and kill 60 mobs. Now, I think it'll be sort of more like the BDO style. Whereas when you get like a mob who's a little bit lower than you, here I'm sort of doing challenging mobs because maybe I've just not leveled up properly. You'll probably just absolutely blast through them. And doing that, I actually do find some kind of fun, right? I think it's actually quite good. Here I'm sort of clicking and I'm not actually taking the stuff, and then it just instantly gave it me. Just a bit of lag, basically. For your character, it does have this system where you can like put in like points. Very weirdly at the minute, you can't really see what they do, by the way. At least I can't. Maybe there is a way of seeing what they do, but mousing over doesn't tell me. I don't know what men is, but you know, that's the res is probably resilience. But as soon as you click it, it's committed. So if I click this strength, it's committed. I don't get to like get it back. I don't know how to get it back. There's probably is a way of resetting it. I just don't know how you do that. There's a couple of like nitpick things as well. Like when you do have an item like this, you can't compare it to what you have on. Well, at least I can't do it right now. Control doesn't do anything. Alt doesn't do anything. Shift doesn't do anything. The only way you do that is to sort of look at it and then look what you have, right? That appears to be the only way of doing that. I spoke a little bit about the movement of the horse, but the movement of the actual player characters, it's like what New World was when New World launched, in that the WASD sort of just moves you side, like it strafes you rather than, you know, turning around and that kind of thing, which whether or not you like or not, it doesn't really matter too much. But what is important is that the animations are proper sketch. I made a character that's pretty fat. The character creator pretty good, by the way, but if I covered absolutely everything, this video would take forever. But look at this. I sort of look like I'm in the Minions. Like I look like I'm Gru dancing around. You know, it looks daft, let's be honest. The animations just look proper scuffed. The game sort of has the New World class system, except you only pick one weapon. And then there are 2 talent trees like this. So you can see if I pick my 2-handed sword, you can see I've gone on the left tree pretty much. You need skill points. You can get these like books and level up each level, so you can like level up the mighty swing as well. But once you have, you know, extra abilities, you can sort of pick passives and stuff like that. I actually don't mind this. These are all the weapons, by the way. You have the sword and shield, which I've not actually used at the minute. two-handed sword, the spear, the dual axe, the dual dagger, the warhammer, the bow, the crossbow, the staff, and the life staff. All of the ones that I've tried so far feel okay, nothing crazy. The warhammer, if I'm honest, felt very, very sluggish. I wouldn't recommend that right now, but maybe it gets very good later on. I've no idea. Let's not talk about the meta at this point. I don't think we're ready for that. The game does promise a lot of content, but to be honest, it's going to take me so long to get there that I'm not sure I'll be able to get there before, the end of this beta. I think it lasts a week. I am going to continue to play it, but it's a little bit of a struggle right now because of the server issues, to be honest. If we have a look in the corner, you can sort of see all the available stuff. The character is the one where you do your attributes, your inventory, skills, etc. Life skills are in the game. I haven't currently been able to actually find an axe or anything to a pickaxe or to chop down trees either. Clans is just your guild. Pets, I haven't got a pet right now. I'm hoping that they pick up your loot, but honestly, I just don't like that system. Even if pets make it better, they just need to make looting better than that. It's just stupid. Mounts, there is literal breeding in the mounts, and you get a mount straight away. Literally, it's the first quest you get. Ships, I haven't seen, but apparently, you can actually become a pirate and a sea merchant and a caravan thief and stuff like that. I don't understand what the ship bit's basically just going to be building ships. I haven't done that yet, right? I haven't seen it, but it's in the game as far as I know. There's world bosses and stuff like that, but again, I haven't seen those either. There's a trading post. This altar and these builds, that's on the world map. That section where I showed you where you can build, that's there. I'd like to get to that section as well. Apparently, there's Castle Wars, there's Battle of Valhalla, Olympiad Wars, ranking dungeons, world boss statuses. It looks like there's a lot of content if you can get there. And I think getting there might be worth it, depending on how you feel the server issue goes and how you think the combat will go. Right now, it's pretty scuffed, right? It is actually pretty scuffed. I actually don't mind the combat. When it works, it might not be great. When I get hit, I'm not moving. And when I hit them, they don't really move. It's just, there's not really any feedback or anything like that, which isn't very satisfactory. But I don't hate it. I don't even mind it in PvP. People are sort of dying quite quickly, but I wouldn't say I hate it. I hate the looting thing for sure, but I don't hate the combat right now. It's is it amazing? No. Is it better than PAX Day? Yeah, probably. There's a lot of desync, sure, but you just saw it there and I sort of forgot about it. I sort of should have mentioned it earlier. There are these combos. The combos are basically you do an ability and then you chain it. Sort of reminds me of Quinfall, but I don't think Quinfall created it. I'm not sure what game had it first. Maybe BDO has it. I think BDO probably does have it. A lot of people are saying that this game is very familiar when it comes to a BDO. And for the inspirations of the game, yeah, it feels very BDO. It feels very New World, very probably arcade as well. And for some people, they'll absolutely love that. What I would say is that the game is real. You can't play it unless you've got a key, unless you come to my chat. But people are playing it. It exists. These are real people. And you know what? It's pretty interesting. I didn't even mention, by the way, at the start of the game, you can sort of pick your channel. Now, they did say you would actually be able to do this in-game, but you can't do this in the server. You have to do it out of the server. You can pick your channel, and your channel does different things. So I just picked channel 1, right? It does all the PvP, all the PvE events, and there's all these kind of experiences. But if you wanted to, maybe you wanted to be a chef, you can go on this channel, and as far as I know, you literally just pick it and you're in it. If I pick the PvP one, you can just be killed. Now, I don't think there's any penalty to death, but you can still use the same character. I don't think there's any penalty to death, but maybe we'll find out, because I suspect I'm going to log in and instantly somebody's going to attack me, which is going to be fun, because I've logged out and I've logged in basically at a quest hub. I'm going to run off a little bit and probably get smashed. I'm led to believe that this is basically a kill on site server, but you're opting in. You do get benefits to stuff if you go on a PvP channel, but I wouldn't want to say you should definitely do it. Look at these guys. So as far as I know, I can go and try and kill these guys, right? Maybe I'll just do it anyway. Should we just go in and see what happens? Deshi's going to absolutely hate me. I think this might be from I think this is from Narc's channel. Okay, I'm actually going to run off now. Right, I didn't kill him, and then I'm going to run off. Get ganked. Okay, I just wanted to show that you can just go in PvP. Basically, there's no stopping. Now, another thing that I didn't talk about. There's so much with this game that if you want to come and check it out, I'm going to stream it tomorrow. Oh, balls. I'm trying to just run off. But you can see the sprinting is very fast, basically. It's a little bit weird. And then when the non-sprinting is also not very fast. So I don't know, it's a little bit weird. Probably in the PvP, it's ludicrous. On the open world, it looks a bit jank. It is what it is. There's some auto running, by the way, if you're on the paths, but you know, it is what it is. If you like that kind of stuff, or you're not bothered about that kind of stuff, I don't think it matters too much. There's people just running by, right? You're gonna ask me if the game's good. Well, like, I don't know, right? With the servers the way that they were, I would say no. Like, when the servers break, you can't play the game properly. But when the servers are there, then it's not awful, and there looks like there's a lot of content. The combat's not like the worst thing in the universe. It's not the best either, but like, yeah, you know, if you're dying for an action combat MMO, maybe you're a New World Andy or something, then this exists. I really do think that the key might be just simply making the servers work. I don't know if it's going to be possible on Unity. It's that simple. Overall, I think they should have probably consolidated on getting the basics right, like getting the servers to work straight from the start. They might be okay, right? Tomorrow morning when I start the game, maybe they figured things out. Things already felt better just in this patch before the last patch, which was actually a server patch, not on the client side. So maybe that'll go away and maybe the server issue won't be a thing. But overall, it sort of feels like that the game was too ambitious because the content sounds good, you know, ships, being a pirate, all the kinds of professions, arena battles, castle wars, dungeons. Oh my goodness, like there's a lot of content here. I actually think that there will be an audience for this game as long as the servers work. I mean, they've sort of already made like a big mistake with the map. I don't know how they can fix this. Like, when I say it's big, by the way, it's like really big. This is as far as I can zoom out. By the way, from running from this place here to this place here on my mount took like 5 minutes, and that was sort of like sprinting. And then look how big the map is. There's all kinds of stuff here, big ass volcano, desert. Look at the size of this goddamn map. It's absolutely huge. There's a couple of islands as well. Like, I mean, there's dinosaurs up there. I mean, it's crazy. There's an ice tundra up here. The map is not small by any means. It's pretty huge. I'm going to say there's a little island over here, I think. There will be areas where you can build and be PvP. These aren't in the game right now, but you'll be able to be raided and that kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of content here. I think a lot of people will be put off by the servers that I keep going on about, and probably put off by the grind. But once you get through that, then maybe there's a decent game here. It's just whether or not people will actually get there, I guess. Let me just cut to the chase. It's scuffed, but maybe they'll get better. Do I think they'll be able to fix every issue? No. Will it be a game that's worth playing? We'll find out in good time. For now, it's real. You can play it, or people have played it. You can come and watch me play it if you have any further questions. This video is a bit long and like rambly. It is late. I've been streaming for like 12 hours. It is what it is. And I just wanted to get these initial thoughts out to you. It's not like a classic first impressions video because there was like a famous writer who said, "I'm sorry for the long letter. I don't have the time to write you a shorter one." Something like that. And that's this video. Okay. Much love. Subscribe, like, whatever it is. Goodbye. Good night. See you.